So hello friend, Amit is here. So last video I explained about the HQL related all functionality. Now we will see that how we can utilize the same thing in QBC. So criteria query, how we can utilize, and how we can top of the HQL also we can utilize. So when we are going to utilize a QBC, here I already created one project. So it's criteria, that is interface. Here we will do session dot create query. Before of that, when we are writing a HQL, what we are doing, we are calling session dot create query and we are passing that particular query here. But here we will do session dot create criteria and pass that class object which criteria we would like to create, and after that we will set some condition all thing. So here we can apply this thing here, this related to cache, that will be seen after. But now you just see this first line where we will create a criteria, we'll just apply session dot create criteria. Instead of before of that we are using on the Hibernate, we are doing a session dot create query, and now we are doing here create criteria. So other than that, we can say that Hibernate criteria query, it is used to fetch the record based on the specific criteria, and that criteria interface provide a method to apply a criteria such as retrieving all the record of the table whose salary greater than 5 lakhs or something. So sometime when we have to apply, when we are required to apply some criteria kind of thing, we can utilize a criteria. And top of the HQL also provide, we can use criteria after that means inside that HQL also. So advantage is that HQL provides method to add a criteria, so it is easy for the Java programmer to add a criteria. The Java programmer is able to add many criteria on the query. So whatever we will write the query, after that we can also provide the criteria. Even we can use individual criteria without using other query languages kind of thing. So criteria interface provide many method to specify criteria. The object of criteria can be obtained by calling the create criteria that I already explained. Query q equal to session dot create query, and after that we will pass that class, and through that we can create the query. So here the criteria interface provide a many method to specify a criteria, and object of criteria can be obtained by calling the criteria method on top of the session object. So through session object we will call create query, that will be a HQL query will be create, and when we will call create session, same object we will call create criteria, pass the particular object, that time criteria object will be created, and top of the criteria we will do the operation, and through that we can fetch the record. So mainly the some scenario like that we would like to fetch record in some condition based, like that we want to retrieve all the record of the table, and we would like to retrieve all the customer information whose salary greater than 1 lakhs or salary greater than 75,000. So we can use that criteria to retrieve this kind of situation. It's easy to retrieving this kind of data. So criteria is provided a many inbuilt method, like a public criteria add criteria will pass, see there, like a add order, set first result, set max result, list that have a set property, set projection. So we will see that how we can utilize this criteria query, and it is means one of the most usage kind of thing in Hibernate. So we will check here how what the explanation provided by JBoss, because JBoss only given that Red Hat is given Hibernate implementation, and here they provide that like a public interface criteria. So that criteria is an interface, and we have some concurrent class implementation, and through that we can utilize it. So criteria is a simplified API for retrieving entities by criteria object. So actually its aim is that we would like to get some object, and top of that we will provide some criteria. In between that criteria provide all the method, through that we can apply a lot of filter on the particular object. So through that, when we would like to fetch complete object or huge amount of object, we'll provide all the condition that is required in our project, and we'll fetch only the data that is exactly required. So here the memory problem will solve, as well as when we try to huge amount of retrieving, then the transaction problem also, traffic problem will be increased. For example, we would like to search highest second highest customer who is getting a salary, or whose account balance is second highest. So we will write the criteria and we will fetch only single record in the database. For example, if you want to fetch all the record in the database, and after that we will go one by one and check that who's the customer who is getting a highest salary or second highest salary, then it will be make a more traffic one. Then we try to fetch the data from the database in our application. That time it's a huge amount of transaction. So that huge amount transaction, we can solve the problem using a criteria. That time itself we set that particular criteria, particular condition. Through that we can fetch only one record. That single record is provide the our need information. So we can do that criteria. We enable that criteria like session dot create criteria, and we have a cat class. So here we have to pass the class only. Through that we are retrieving that criteria. After that we have the add multiple condition we can add, and or add order also we can do, and after that we are doing a list. So here up to that it will be return a criteria, but here when provide add list it will return a complete list. So we have the cat list who have that much condition, name start with IZ, and that weight is something, minimum weight is there, and age is ascending order. So we will get this particular cat whose name start with AZ, and weight must be the minimum weight what we will provide it, and what the age we will provide. So we will get in the filter. So exactly just think about that filter in Java 8 stream.filter. We can provide a multiple condition there. So here also we can provide a multiple condition, and according of that we will filter the records. So here what happen, whenever we fetch the record without filtering in the database, then that time we will get all the object at a time. But here when we will apply the criteria, means we will fetch only that record that is we have needed, and that only record we will utilize here. So see here that second, it's maybe the negative association create allies. So this one method is there, you just try to utilize this all the method. So like that we can add many condition, and according of that we can fetch the data. I just want to explain about here what the method they are provided. So here they provided criteria, add criteria, will provide a criteria, through that we can add. Other method is there, add order. So it will be use result set to add in the ordering condition. Next is a create allies, that is a association, join, all thing it will happen through that allies. So again all this thing have a different parameter, but same kind of method is there. So next is a create criteria, that is a parameter means through that session we can call create criteria, and here we will pass that string particular path of the class or class name, and through that we can create. Here join type is there, so other parameter also we can utilize to create a criteria, multiple way to create a criteria. Here get allies is there, which get the allies of the entity. So what the criteria is there, we will get through that as is read only. We will return boolean or means true or false. Its return type is boolean. Is read only initialization, again the boolean. List, it will be return all the get result. We will use a list. A scroll, get the result and instance of scrollable result. So what the value we want to scrollable, like a paging concept, it will be used here. So scroll mode we can set here. So after scroll mode it will be work like a scroll, same thing. So set cacheable, when we use the cache cache kind of thing, then we will see that how cacheable here will pass true and false, how we can utilize set cacheable thing here. So next program I will say that how we can use cache also here. So cacheable mode, here we will set cacheable mode type, and set cache region also will set, and set comment, set fetch mode, set fetch site, set first result. That again the pagination concept, we also see that same type of method inside that SQL Hibernate query. When we try to retrieve some customer whose means from some city like a Bangalore or something, when huge amount of value is coming, then we have to provide some pagination concept, and first result it's 0 and next max result is something we have to utilize. So set first result method is also here, set max result is also here. So that same pagination concept that we utilize in SQL we can utilize also here. So set plus mode is here, override the plus mode of the particular query. If query by default plus mode is what there, so we can change that plus mode also through using a set plus mode. Set lock mode is there, again set lock mode with multiple parameter. That set max result, the same thing, set first result, set max result, that we utilize in the SQL query. That how much maximum, so every time we want to 10 result only. Even I am just trying to fetch all the customer from Bangalore or from Hyderabad, so we'll get thousands of customers. So when we set the set max result, then only what the max result we will provide, like the 10, then we will get only 10 customer who belong to the Hyderabad. So this will be help to a scrolling value or help to pagination concept. So set projection is there, through that we can set the projection. Set read only is there, so we'll set read only, or that will be not modify. So set result transformation will set timeout will set unique result is set. So those methods you utilize, and also definition is here. If you want to go deeply about all the methods, then just go through that document, and I'm sure that it's a very easy to understand you. Now I'm going to create a criteria object, and I'm going to write the same kind of program that I will utilize in SQL. Like that, we have SQL here. Will be created a DO, the transaction factory, and the client. After that, through client we will access through the DO, and DO will be accessed in the Hibernate template. And we will get all the record. We have the multiple query here in SQL. Just go through that SQL video where we utilize a multiple query like from customer C, where C dot card type, C dot email, from customer C all the record, from customer C where C dot CT equal to something, and many queries here. And according to that, we already created a mini method that can able to handle different kind of situation. The same project I converted into the QBC application, and we will see that how QBC is working. So now we will start, and just will close this all the program here, and we'll see that how query will working. So we'll start here. First we will look that configuration file. So configuration file, nothing much more changes. If you went through my previous video, then as it is, configuration is here. So we are configuring a session factory here. So inside the session factory will provide all information related to particular database. So I have a driver class, URL, user ID, password here. So because I am using a MySQL, so I added driver class as the MySQL driver class. URL I added here. URL as a MySQL driver. This is a port number. When you will install that MySQL, that time you have to provide a port number. Otherwise it will be utilized by default MySQL port number. And here I am using that database. So better I will create if you want to see the table, I have to create a new database. So I will drop this one and I will create it very new. So just will open MySQL. Let's just show databases, and I have visual 4 that I will drop visual path 4. So here drop database name. First we'll show that. So databases, so we have the visual path 4. Actually we missed adding a database, so drop database visual path 4. So it's a dropping, 8 table is there, so all are dropped. So here I have to create that visual path, so we'll write a create visual path. Create visual path 4, we are going to utilize that. Create database visual path 4. Yeah, so we'll use this, use visual path 4, and now we are using a visual path 4, so we'll confirm that any table or so is there or not. So nothing is there, no table is there, so it is a very fresh. So we will going to utilize that visual path 4. After that, username is here, password is here, and this dialect is responsible to generate a particular query to criteria query or SQL query or anything, save, load functionality to particular database. Because here if you provide some other dialect like MySQL, Oracle, something, then that will be a convert to that query, or all the logic will be converted to the particular database information. Because here we are not writing a directly query related to particular database, we are using a SQL kind of thing or a object oriented query languages, and internally Hibernate is responsible to convert particular query to related database. For example, I am provided here dialect as a MySQL, so that Hibernate runtime system is responsible to convert our SQL like a from customer C to select a star from customer query internally. So that is happened because we register here and we provided that before, so that at Hibernate runtime system, please, if we writing some SQL kind of thing or object oriented query kind of thing, then convert into the particular database. That database we are using a MySQL, so we will provide a MySQL dialect. After that, so SQL that I already show you that many times. So when we will add this true, means we able to see all the fire queries under the our console. So H2M HBM2DDL.auto means that means we are not going to create any table. So Hibernate is responsible to create all related mapping table automatically. And after that, resource here, so we are using a customer.hbm.xml resource, and even if we want, we can provide a class here when we are using annotation mapping, and we will provide a classified path, class related path here. And after that, session factory close. So after that, we have the mapping document in under the customer, where we have a customer. So customer, what the field is there, we'll see here first. So customer have a CID, that CID we going to use as a primary key. So it is a primary key, and after that we have name, email, city, card balance, card type, card number, and status. So here we have a parameterized default constructor, because we know that once we will add any, if we not add any constructor inside that our class, then JVM is automatically add one default constructor. But whenever we add any parameterized constructor, JVM is not responsible to add default constructor. So if we want a default constructor, we have to explicitly inside that, and sometime runtime Hibernate runtime system is using a default constructor to initializing the value or creating that value. So maybe sometime you will get the instantiation error or some kind of thing if default constructor is not there. So better of that, what the entity class you will write, you just add one default constructor also there, and after that you will utilize a parameterized constructor. So I have parameterized constructor here that have all the field other than CID, because CID I am going to generate automatically through that primary key generator algorithm. So here we are passing a CNAME, email, city, card balance, card type, card number, and status, and we are generating this object through the default constructor, parameterized constructor. After that, we have a getter setter, as well as I have a toString method. Through that, we can see that what the value will come when we will utilize to print system.out.println the particular object. So here the same mapping of that class, we already know that I have a mini video related to mapping, and we already work on the simple mapping, collection mapping, association mapping, inheritance mapping. So if mapping is not clear, then go to that and watch that video. But here we are going to do very simple mapping, so here we no need to do any much more thing. So under the Hibernate mapping, so you just have to provide like customer.hbm.xml. So you will change any name here left side, but must be the end with .hbm.xml. It will not create any error or exception, but when we try to understand without opening this file, and that if that have a .hbm, then we can understand that yeah, this file is related to Hibernate mapping. And when we will talk about the cfg.xml, means that file is related to configuration. So it is easy to understand what the file type is there. So you can use any name, but Hibernate mapping file must be end with .hbm.xml. So here we are mapping Hibernate mapping package information we provided, where exact our customer class is there. So customer class available in com.visualpath.hibernate, and after that class what we are using a customer. So if that class will be mapped, so where that table will created in the particular database, that Visual Path 4 database we are using. So table name will be a customer, that will be created in Visual Path 4 database, MySQL database. Inside the DB name is Visual Path 4. There one customer table will be created by the Hibernate runtime system, and that customer information will be stored there. After that, because we not initializing that ID, so here we have to register ID generator under the ID. Name is equal to CID, column equal to CID, int type equal to int. After that we have to provide a generator here. So generator class we are using a increment. So after we have to register all the property, like that how much property is here. So we have this all property other than the CID. CID is going to add under the ID, and after that ID generator. After that we have a C, name, email, city, card balance, card type, card number, and status. So this all variable we have to initialize here under the .hbm.xml file. So we are initializing here name equal to C name, email, city, and card balance type equal to double, card type, card name, int, status. So if we not provide a type, so by default it will take as it is type what the type is provided inside that customer classes. So that mapping is done. After that mapping we will check that how we are using. So here we will see that we will go to the reverse direction, where we will see that first C Hibernate util template. So C Hibernate util template is again we utilize each and every functionality that C Hibernate util have a two function, that one able to make it's a singleton, other it have a one method, that factory kind of method, that returning a particular object. So here we are creating a session factory like that. Configuration is equal to new configuration cfg dot configure. After that cfg dot build session factory is responsible to create a factory method. So that factory we are returning through that public static session factory get session factory, and we are returning a factory method here. So because this method is a static method, so whenever we would like to session factory object, we can directly call C Hibernate util dot get session factory, because we know that if some static variable is there or a static field is there, we can directly access that field using a C Hibernate util dot particular property name or particular method name, we can direct get. So it no need to instantiate out of the particular class. Here we can get directly by using a class name. And here we are using a static because we would like to create this configuration or session factory object only one time, and whenever the class will be wrote, that time only this block will be executed, because we know that a static block will be executing during the class load itself, and that time that object will be created and stored is here. So it is aggressive initialization, means when the class will be loaded, that time only that instance is created, even we are utilized or not, that instance is ready for use. And whenever we call through that Hibernate util dot get session factory, it is return that particular session factory object. So that I no need to means explain much more, because you remember that each and every lab we are using this Hibernate util factory. Even you can copy this Hibernate util factory to any lab or any program, it will work as it is. So now the next we will see that Hibernate template.java. So any standard programming like that, I explained that mini project, that HQL, and that now it's a QBC. So we are using on template file. That template file itself, we are providing all persistent classes logic. Other than all the packages, all the classes, never nowhere we are going to utilize that Hibernate related code, and all have only Java related code. So here in HibernateUtil.template, what we provided, we will see that, and after that we will go to the DO related thing. So here c.HibernateUtil, same thing is there. If you compare with the HQL program like this core HQL, then you will not find much more different with the QBC. Only the functionality related changes is there, because I am using this structure, because whenever you need to create some project, or whenever you want to create some standard project, you must use some structure, and you have to utilize your DO, you have to utilize your util, you have to utilize your template, you have to utilize your factory method. So according of that, our code will be a very standard. And main thing is that, because this following, whenever we develop any project, or whenever we develop any application, where exactly if we want to spend 100 rupees to develop and maintenance one application, so 70 rupees we are investing only for the maintenance that application, and 30 rupees only we are using for developing that application. Means I am telling this thing because the maintenance part is very difficult. Maintenance part is more than complex to developing the application. So when we develop the application and will not follow the standard, and will not follow the standard rule, then again the maintenance part is very difficult. For just example, you will write all the code inside that this com.visualpart.client itself in the single package, and not use any DO, any Hibernate, any template. Inside that only you will write one method that is responsible to do particular operation itself, and everywhere you will create a Hibernate util related code. So sometime we have the changes, or sometime we have to change the particular thing, so we have to change each and everywhere. But when for example, now we are not following the any naming kind of thing, like a hibernate.cfg.xml. here for the configuration we are using, but I just write a visualpath.xml, or the mapping document I just like visualpath2.xml. so what happened, when you open this project, you have to go inside that particular file, and you have to deeply study that, and then you can understand, yeah, this file is a configuration related, visualpath1.xml is a configuration related, and visualpath2.xml is a mapping related. But when you follow the standard and you open the particular file, without opening that file, when you see that name itself like hibernate.cfg.xml, we know that this is a configuration file. Customer.hbm.xml means we know that this is a customer related mapping file. Like that, we have a customer, employee to entity, and we are going to map it, and we wrote the customer.hbm.xml, employee.hbm.xml. so now two file is there. We can easily find that employee related mapping available in employee.hbm.xml, customer related mapping is available in customer.hbm.xml. But just think about that, we are not going to this naming, just we write that visualpath4.xml, visualpath5.xml. again we have to click, and we have to map with it. Is it have a employee related information, or it have related customer related information, even it is a configuration file or HPM file or any other XML file. So what I am trying to saying here, if you follow the standard, if any new person also will join and try to develop or try to maintain this application, that life is very easy to maintaining this application, and through that we can achieve our means code standard part, and our code become a very loosely coupled. Even sometime we want to change the functionality, like we don't want to utilize a Hibernate query language, now we move to the QBC kind of thing, then we have to just change that only this template, because the template have only persistent classes, and we no need to touch anything here. For example, I have to change Hibernate to particular IBED toppling other ORM tool. So we have to go here in configuration, and I have to change this configuration only. So once we will change that configuration, automatically that Hibernate means 2, it will be a change to particular IBET and toppling and something, and it will work as it is. So it's not much more related to particular configuration. Here whatever we will want, we will put that value and we will follow the standard of the coding. That's the reason I am writing this way. So just we will come back to our coding standard. So now we are here in C HibernateUtil.template. You just compare with this core HPL C HibernateUtil.template, you will not get much more different. So what the method is there, just Control O, you will get all the methods. So we have doing a save operation, update operation, delete operation, load operation, and after the find list, with find list pagination concept, and again find list with a string and multiple where clauses. So the same thing we utilize there also. So we have here. So we will go one by one each method and we will see that how the method is responsible. Even if you want to check, we can utilize the same method what we are using in the mini project as well as what we are using in HQL. No much more changes is there, but again I would like to explain each and everything here. So we are using a transaction. For example, save method we will write here, we will get any object and we will try to save in the particular database. So that save method is responsible to save object inside the particular database. So we will start with the transaction. We are writing this transaction is outside of the try always. Why? What the problem is there? If we put inside the try, then it will create a problem during a rollback. So when we will try to catch exception E something, so this time that object is not visible because this object is created inside that try and it is not visible outside this double quote, means this block. So because of that only we are creating a transaction always outside the try. After that we are session factory. I already explained about that. We have a session factory, through that we are getting a session object. So we just, because get session factory is a static method, so we are calling C HibernateUtil.get session factory directly without instantiated that object. After that we have a session, we have to create a session. So sf.open session we can apply and create a session. After that transaction, session.begin transaction. So here transaction is started. So now we would like to save. So session.save, and we have to pass that object, what the object we are getting as a parameter of the particular method save. So when we will apply session.save the particular object, here what we will return? We will return that particular object itself. So we can provide that, return that object. Here we can get that object also and verify that it's deleted successfully or not. So in during of that something will happen. If transaction is not successfully, then we will get some exception. So whenever we will get some exception, we will check that transaction is null or not. If transaction is not null, then means it did something in the table and half the data is stored, or maybe the some wrong data is stored in the database, because during of that only exception is come. So I just want to roll back the particular transaction. Till now we not flush the transaction, we not close the transaction. So we can roll back it, and after that we can also check that what the value is there. Other than we can do here the logger, what the logger file you want to provide, you just log that message and it will be available the message there. After that we are returning the ID. That ID it will be come here when we will show that session.save. So what the value object will be saved, it will retrieve the same object and we will return here, and we will return same object when we will call to the save method. So we can verify again that after saving this application, after saving this object, my object is correct or not. So next method is the update. So we just have already that particular value is there. I would like to change. For example, one customer is there whose name is Amit and who belong to the Bangalore, and his card status is active. I just want to change that card status is inactive and Amit name is Amit Pathak. So I would just want to change this value, and then this kind of operation we will perform with the update, and again we will do that transaction here tx equal to null start with. Again we will get the session factory from C HibernateUtil.get session factory, and we will create a session sf.open session, and after that tx.begin transaction. So here transaction is started. So after that session.update, that update is responsible to update the value, and here we have the object that pass the object and it will update. After that we have a transaction, and transaction session dot close, and if something will happen again we will roll back and we will print this one. Other than we can write the logger messages, logger dot log the particular messages. The next is a delete. So we are going to delete the function, are going to delete a particular value. So how we are deleting that? Actually Hibernate is providing a delete way to pass the particular class where we want to delete, because Hibernate is dealing the terms of class name and its property name. It's not dealing with the terms of table name or row name or column name. Because of that only we need the class, which class value we want to delete, and here the id primary key, we what primary key we want to delete, and through that primary key only we will delete that particular object. So here we have all primary keys is serializable, as we know that all the primary key must be subtype of the serializable, only then it will become as primary key, otherwise it will not a primary key. So here serializable will pass that particular primary key. After that again we will start the same functionality, like we create a transaction, we create a object session factory, we will get that session factory from Hibernate util classes. After that we are doing session and sf dot open session, after that session dot begin transaction, and here the what the trick we are using, before to deleting we will pass that class and pass that particular primary key, and we will load that object. Now we have the object that we want to retrieve, that want to delete, we have the complete object. So we have the delete method, so session dot delete, we just pass that delete method and delete it. This two operation why we are dealing, we cannot directly communicate with table name or something. So here we need that object that we want to delete. Even we can get that object directly here, either this way we can get directly object obj here, and we will just avoid this line and we will pass session dot delete this object. So both method will work. Either you can utilize a delete with particular class, so if you want to delete with particular id, or if you want to delete with particular object. So if you want to delete with particular object, so if you have need class, and that class we have to load the particular object, and after that we'll pass that object and delete. If you have a complete object and you want to delete, then just pass the object and call session dot delete, and that delete method will be responsible to delete your object. The next method is a load. Here again we are doing the same thing. We have a transaction tx equal to null. Next is a object obj equal to something null. That object only we would like to return. Once we get the object we will return, otherwise we will return the null value. So here session factory we are getting from a Hibernate util dot get session factory, and after that we are using a open session, begin transaction, load, commit and close, and if something will happen during that this operation under the try, then it will be a throw exception, and here we will check that if transaction is failed, then we will roll back it, and after that we will log that message, or we will print stack trace will utilize. If successfully run, then we will return that particular object. If not, then it's a null value will be returned here. So up to that 4 curled operation main, create, retrieve, delete and update is done. Even you can utilize the same template file whatever we utilizing in SQL, it will work as it is. It's not a much more problem, but why I would like to explain here, because through that you can get the idea how we are writing a template file. First, all the requirement, how many we have a requirement, we will gather it, write all the method inside the Hibernate DO interface. Inside the Hibernate DO interface again we can separate, and we can make like a group wise functionality. So if maybe we have a 20 method in the DO, so maybe 4 method have a save only, 4 method update only, 4 method delete only, and 4 method retrieve only. So we can separate that 4 method in according of this behavior, and after that this 4 method will be we will write one template method that can deal with all that equivalent 4 kind of method. So we will think like that, and we can generate a template like that only. It's not like that how many method inside that your DO classes you will create exactly same method there. So keep in mind that we are going to write a high performance code that is a loosely coupled as well as that have a very less code duplicacy functionality. So next is we would like to find the list. Here we are passing a HQL. We will pass that query and we will arrange into the argument. So how many argument we will pass through that set parameter? I will come here 1 2 3 4, it's there, then it will set up to the 4, and what exact object argument we here will pass, that will be set here. So according of that, it is a find the list of the particular value and it will work. And after that, when it will get the list dot q dot list, so q dot query dot list will be return a particular value, and here we are returning through a list. The next is the find list. Here transaction equal to null and list equal to list. Again what we are doing, the same concept what is here, we are applying a pagination top of the particular concept. So here we are doing a public static list find list, and we are passing HQL, and in the start what value you would like to start, and total value how much value you want to search. For example, I would like to retrieve a customer who belong to Bangalore, and we just retrieve it. So when we retrieve, we see that 1 million record is come, and that 1 million record is our application is not able to handle. Even when we try to push that record inside the Chrome table or something, when we try to load in the particular IE or Chrome, we'll see that particular UI is hanging, and that not able to handling that much record at a time. So what we will do, we will utilize that max result kind of thing, first result kind of thing, and we will achieve that pagination concept, and according to the 100 only we will fetch. Once we will reach that means location, means highest position, we will stop to fetching it. So here we can utilize this function for the pagination. The same method is here. Here new thing is there. Set first result, set max result. I already explained many times of this functionality, because this is a core functionality where we using a pagination concept. The next is the find object with a 2 parameter HQL and particular object. So again we will write a query q.session.create query, and after that we will pass this thing. So this template as it is, even nothing much more changes is here. Now we will check the DO, means how all the functionality we will write inside that particular DO. So here once we will move the DO, here we have a multiple method like that. We have add customer, that using one customer object here, update customer, again customer object, that delete customer, through primary key we are deleting that customer. Get customer by CT, we are getting a customer by CID, that passing the CID. Get customer by email, we are passing that email and we will get the particular customer. Get customer by card number, and we'll pass that card number and we'll get the customer. Get all customer, that all list we will get the related customer. Get all customer, here we'll pass the particular 2 int and we will get that all customer. Get customer by CT, we'll pass the CT number, we will get it. The same thing we will apply the pagination concept. Same here by name, we'll pass the particular name and it will be get all the customer whose name is related to particular value. After that we will pass get customer name and we will pass here get customer, and after that we can enter that 2 value start and max. Through that we can achieve the pagination concept. Here we will get customer by card type, here we pass that a string and we will get card type like a Visa kind of thing or Maestro card type of thing, and we'll get the particular card type. So maybe it's a huge amount of result will become. So here we will use the pagination concept start and max, and we can utilize here the same method. We have a customer by a status and we will get all the list of the customer. So we'll pass that status like enable or disable type of customer is there, and we will get it like active or inactive is there, we will get it. And here we have the customer by status. The same method here we'll use achieve the pagination concept. We will pass the start and max and we will achieve here. Here this method is responsible to return balance of that get customer by balance. So I just want to retrieve all the customer whose balance is 1 million. So we will pass that 1 million is here in the double field, and we will get the particular customer. The next method, the same thing is here, but whenever we pass try to fetch that some customer belong to the some particular balance, maybe the huge amount will be customer is there and we cannot able to handle this situation. So we can apply the pagination concept top of that, and applying for pagination concept we have provide a start and max result. So that next method here, it is a using same thing, get customer by balance double int, and they can return the particular value. The next is a customer, there two string value is there, next is a two string and two int parameter is there, next is a customer three string value is there, and again is a guest customer three string and two int value is there. We can utilize a multiple where clauses. So this all method we already utilize in core SQL functionality. So you can use the same DOA, no need to change anything. You can what the core SQL you are wrote here, you can utilize the same DOA here, and after that implementation only we have to check how we are implemented. So anyhow we are going to call this method the template method itself. So we will do the some functionality and we can call the template method. This method also, as it is same what we utilize here in core QBC functionality. So here we no need to change much more thing. So you just take all what we have a core SQL customer DO, and you can utilize a customer DO implementation also in the same the functionality. But I would like to explain this one more time through that if you have some query, or if you not understand in the previous video, so you can understand here. So we are calling add customer here, so we will pass that customer here. So one thing is missing here, that we are not using a transfer object. So once you can run this QBC or SQL program, you just try to create a transfer object, and this property transfer you can utilize one thing, and here we will pass a TO object, and after that you will convert that TO object to particular customer object, and then you call here that particular customer object. So that will be a loosely coupled thing. I will leave this task for you, and I'm expecting you can write this one, because we utilize the same thing in our mini project. You just try to utilize functionality here. So what we are doing here in add customer, when we will call add customer, the customer object will come, and we will pass that customer object to call save method, and save method have all the related code that can just save the application. I already see that how that save method will be working to saving the object. Here update customer, again the customer object will be called, we call Hibernate template dot update, and will pass that particular object. And one more thing is here, yeah, so we are calling a Hibernate dot save all the functionality. Okay, so Hibernate dot delete, again we will pass that class and ID. If you want to provide, if you would like to something like delete through the object, so we can write this kind of function. If we overwrite it, it will create a problem, because in create customer by object, and what we will do here, we will pass complete object here. So we will pass customer, and here we will pass this customer here. So this kind of method is not there. So what we will do, we will write one delete method, same thing, here we will pass object, and now no need this one, even we can write same obj here. This obj required, no required. So now this method is responsible to so we can call delete. So either we can delete through that id, so we can call that primary key here and we'll pass that primary key here with the class information, and after that we will do that we will load that particular complete object through that cid, and after that we will delete. Either if we have a complete object, then we can directly pass delete to that particular object and it will be delete. So get customer by id, will pass id here and we will get here, so we'll call load and we will get it here. So again the get customer by email, so we will do the operation on the email itself. So next is a get customer by card number, get customer all customer, so we'll pass that here get all customer with a start and total, so we use that set first result, set max result, and we will session dot create criteria and we will utilize that. So before that what we are using a query equal to session dot create query. Now because we are dealing with the criteria, so that's the reason we are using a session dot create criteria, and again almost all the method are exactly same, like a set first result, set max result. So create criteria, we have to provide that particular class to create that criteria. So again if we see here, we have a session dot create criteria and we are creating a customer classes. After that we are doing some operation is here, so we will add this thing and we can load this thing. So just go through this code, it's almost same to SQL, just because we are creating some query object when we use SQL. Now we are doing a Hibernate criteria operation, so we will do the session dot create criteria and pass that operation, and most of that only like that x this functionality and all means it's look like exactly same. You will not find much more different here. So all the method, if you are able to write one method, you can write all the functionality because all the functionality is almost same. So get customer by status, get customer by balance, get customer by balance, here get customers. So this class we can utilize as it is, what the SQL is utilizing. Few things we have to change. Where we are using a query, we have to change with criteria. Most of the functionality will work. Some new functionality like ct dot add, here expression equals ct like that we are setting some placeholder concept there, but here we are not using some placeholder concept. Set parameter, set a string, according of that we are using a add. So once criteria object is there, we will add and we will specify the particular value. So where we would like to add, on the ct we would like to add ct. So when we will use the as a parameter, set parameter or set a string, the just replacement of that, here we are using a ct top of the criteria object. That criteria instance is ct dot add and expression dot eq we will use, and we will make like expression where you would like to set. So we would like to set on the ct. So sometime it will be get the balance, so we will set on the balance. So balance equal to some balance. When we would like to set on the id, we will set on the id. So if we would like to set a multiple values, and then we will create this multiple set parameter there. Even we have the loop to set this parameter somewhere, where we will get the multiple set parameter. This all are the single value, so it is setting a single value, but we will get once that where are concept, there we will set the multiple. Yeah, so how will set the two value, like a set first parameter, set parameter first 0th position, set next parameter 0th position. So we will utilize like this concept, ct dot add expression dot and. Before we are using expression, so now we have expression dot and, so we will use and operator, and after that expression dot eq CT, what the value will come CT here, so we'll provide here. Expression.eq, card type, what the value card type will get, we will provide here. So we can utilize. So this only changes it here other than SQL. So we have to understand this deeply. Other than here also using a ct.add, expression.add. So expression.add is here. So what the other functionality is there? So just check expression.or, expression.add. So this will be provided. Here we have the between, conjunction, disjunction, equal, greater, greater than, equal, like, in, is, null. So we have the all functionality. Through that we can filter different kind of record. So just go through that Red Hat document and we just check that how it is working. So here itself we can filter each and everything, but mainly on the criteria object we will provide all the filter condition and we can fetch the data. So now I am thinking it is a very clear, and we will just run this program and we will check that how it is working. So here what we are doing, we are adding that customer, add customer, and after that we are printing this customer. For printing we can utilize that same logic, what the logic we utilize a previous, and we can utilize like a stream also. So list dot for each, and after that customer prediction predicate that particular value. So C I would like to print, so it work. Otherwise we can use this for loop also. So we are just calling this method, and the first time it will maybe not work because sometime we are try to get a 4, but we are adding only one value, so 4 value is not there. So it will throw lot of exception first time, but when we will try to load one by one all the data, and once it is received it will work. So now we have the lot of exception because the table have only single data. So now we have the create, so just change create with update. So each and every time it will not delete the data, it will just update that data. Now we will run 4-5 times, then that record will become there 1, 2. So now I have a few value. Now it's throwing exception in line number 104. 104 means here we would like to try get email related to this one. So what email ID we have? So we have email ID SK1, but we are try to get YK1. So SK1 we have to, or we have to add one SK1 here. Yeah, SK1 we are adding, so we will add YK1 here. So actually we try to retrieve here YK1, that YK1 is not available. 104 line number SK1. So now that's solved. Now we are getting a problem 108. So 108 here we are trying to get a customer, get customer by card whose number is 1234, and now we have card number, or we'll see inside that MySQL itself. So what is the table? We are using Visual Path 4. I think Visual Path 4 will be newly created, so only one table is there, customer. So select star from customer. Custom. Yeah. So we have card number 11145 only, and we try to retrieve card number something else. We try to retrieve 12345. So 12345 is not there. So we will add 12345 here. 12345. This time we will add, and then see that 108 still have error or not. So now again 108 have a error, so we'll check that here data is came or not. So 12345 card number is there. First time it's commit at a time, so it will not work. So now I will try, it will work right now. So no error is here, so we are getting all the value correct. So we fetch the value according to criteria. So just go through that criteria document that redhat.jboss is provided, and just apply that criteria and convert that same SQL project that we already created with the criteria. Only few things we have to change. Where we are using a set property, set a string, that time you have to change and convert into the particular criteria type, like that here what we are using. So just go through that video, create this type of a structure, utilize a factory, utilize a template. You can just utilize a util classes and try to create this complete project and run it. And right now we almost completed all the SQL concept, query concept, criteria concept. So just try to go through that all video and try to create a project with a different condition. Also try to create a multiple template and utilize it. Till now, thanks for watching the video. Next video I will explain about cache, like a cluster cache, transaction cache, all kind of thing, and we will implement cache, and we will utilize how we can reduce the round trip between our application to database. And next after that we will see that how we can map the filter. And next two concept is the pending, that is a transaction, how we can manage a transaction, and database connection. So database connection and transaction, how we can manage. And after that we have one main project. So we will utilize all the functionality, utilize all the concept, and how we can create one online shopping center. And we will explain about that few important question and what the answer exactly expecting by the interviewer. So thanks for watching this video. I will come with next video again.